Okay, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we in a different kind of setting. Not really. I usually shoot my videos back there. But the reason why we on this couch is to talk about the time. It's a little story time. It's the time I used my credit card and I used the travel insurance benefit that came with it. Now this is a long process, so pull your chairs up, grab some popcorn, we gonna dive into it. Now I hope me sharing this gives whoever watches some insight into the inner workings of how everything goes. I'm gonna try to be as detailed as possible, but also I'm gonna try to be as clear as possible. So this is my first time doing this, and I was just curious to kind of even see the process myself, and that's also why I'm sharing it. So keep that in mind. Before I hop into it, I just want to provide some context. I don't know if any of these like credit card companies, if they all have the same insurance or like insurance provider, the person you got to go through to file the claim. I use Chase, right? I have a Chase Sapphire Preferred, so I went through eClaims. So that's just to provide some context. Your mileage may vary, so let's get into it for real now. So mind you, this was for a trip I took over a year ago at this point. At that time, a lot of things were going on. I took that trip over a year ago. It was like pilot strikes happening, a whole bunch of things was happening. I feel like there's always some strikes happening. Like, so I mean, it was right now we got what the automaker strike. We just finished up with the writer's strike. So it's always something. But that's what was going on at the time. But anyways, my flight got delayed due to quote unquote mechanical electrical failures. In addition to that, I think they had limited crew, so it was like either way this wasn't gonna go. Either way, the flight was delayed and I wouldn't be able to catch a flight till like the next morning. And so the airline offered me some, a flight reimbursement. They gave me like an additional $100 credit. Of course, they put me on the next flight, hotel, and maybe food was in it, or if it was hotel, like breakfast was offered at the hotel, something like that. But for me being in a situation, I'm like, hold up, I got my Chase credit card. I know I booked this flight with it. And like, for Chase Sapphire Preferred, you gotta pay $95 a year. I'm like, I might as well get something out of this. So I like look up my benefits to make sure this would be like covered. And for sure it was definitely gonna be covered. So yeah, I look up the benefits and everything. I call customer service just to verify what I'm seeing online is true. And the rep was like, oh yeah, you can definitely do that. You should do that. This is what you gotta do. This is where you go, blah, blah, blah. Gave me the whole process. I'm like, okay, bet. Because I'm like, shoot, I know, what is it, they reimburse up to like $500. So I'm like, let me see if I could do a little double dip. You feel me? So like, I got the $100 credit, right? And I like declined the hotel and stuff. And instead, let me see what these other hotels hitting on. So I booked like this nice hotel, booked myself a nice Uber, and we was traveling in the black and everything. Like we traveling nice, it was real good. Ordered me some food, all that stuff. And end of the day, it came up to like $470, $475. I'm like, cool, we under the $500 limit for the reimbursement. Bet Gucci. Okay, so now fast forward, I'm back home, right? There's some things that happened in between that, like getting back with a little. But I'm back home, and in order to file this claim now, I need like all my receipts. So I get like an invoice from the hotel. I get the receipts from. I have like the receipts for my food. And I have, of course, like the receipt for my Uber on the app. Oh, and I also had to have, like I guess more of like an official, I forgot the exact wording, but like an official letter from my airline saying, oh yeah, the flight was delayed and this was the reason, right? So to run that back, I needed the official reason from like the airline. That was easy. You just go on their site, fill out a little form, they send that to you, boom. The receipts and invoices, what you're trying to get reimbursed for. And yeah, I think that's it. That's really it. So that was the easy part. Things got difficult once I submitted my claim. At first, it was an issue of me missing a receipt or seemingly missing a receipt, because although I use my Chase card for all these purchases, and that's one thing I also have to say, in order to get the reimbursement, like I had to book the hotel, pay for my food, all that stuff with the Chase card. But yeah, like, so seemingly I didn't have, one of the receipts didn't match up because I use Apple Pay. Although I use my Chase card through Apple Pay, and Apple Pay shows like a different number and stuff. And so they were like, this doesn't match up. I guess it was flagged as shady, whatever. And I get back to them on it like, no, it was this, that, and the third. Let me pause. Let's say I filed it, like let's say I filed it in September, right? I didn't get back to them, like, because a lot of things was going on, so I didn't like reach back out to them after I didn't hear anything till like, let's say like maybe December, January, right? And then once we got that sorted out, they was like, okay, cool, woo. Reached back out to them again, and they were like, oh, the same thing. I'm like, no, I already talked to someone, and you can look at the logs. This was already, he was like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm gonna get back to you. Never got back to me again. So at this point, like I said, if we filed this in September, it's like April, May at this point. And I like call them again, and they tell me, what they tell me? Yeah, they tell me, oh, this is, now go back to check on the status. See, like I said, if I filed this in September, it's like June at this point. So September 2022, now it's June 2023. That's what, 9 months, 10 months? I go back to check on the claim status, and it's talking about some, like, it got closed out, or I'm like, it got closed out. I ain't hearing no communications, I ain't getting my money, I ain't getting none of that. So I called them back up, and they're like, oh yeah, blah, 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 like, it just got locked out because of our system. It hasn't been looked at for a while, but I'll reopen it for you. And he's like, yeah, you're good, you should get your money back within like a few days. Someone's gonna look at it, they're gonna approve it, blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, finally, approved, filled out the reimbursement form to tell them like where to go, where to like send the money. Got my direct deposit. It was Gucci. So I say all this to say, overall, the process from claim to reimbursement was much longer than I expected, and much longer than I feel like it needed to be. It was very little communication on their end of like, oh, we need this, we need that, which again, I expect that they're not trying to pay stuff out. But like, that's of course frustrating. The number of times I gotta like keep calling back and stay on top of that. And I could have been better with staying on top of it, but and everything, like a lot of things are going on in life. It's, sometimes things can slip through the crack. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to have got my money back, and most definitely love the benefits at Chase. We'll be staying with them. But if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and see you in the next one.